Welcome to our Talking Business in China podcast by crayfish.io, a space for an expert's take on growing your business and succeeding in the Chinese market. Here are your hosts, Ting Zhong, founder and CEO, and Ge-Yang Huang, Director of Business Services at crayfish.io.
Hi, Ge-Yang.
Hi, Ting. How are you?
I'm good. Now we're back to work from the summer holiday. I see we're getting a lot more inquiries. Specifically, I noticed some recent inquiries are on Chinese social media and digital marketing.
Yes, we have got quite a few, from running Chinese social media to localizing website into Chinese. So perhaps we can discuss digital marketing in China today.
Sure, it's a big topic, but let's see what we can cover in this episode.
To start with, I think for those who are not familiar with digital marketing in China, how does it work in China? What are the main differences from what is operating here in the UK or Europe?
Well, China is being transformed into the world's most digitized economy. The latest government statistics shows that China's internet users approached 1.1 billion at end of the June period. That is 78% of the population. So Chinese people use the internet for entertainment and social needs, just like you do here in the West. But they also spend a lot more time on shopping online for all sorts of things. And as you can imagine, the Chinese digital world is large and complex with millions of websites and millions of mobile apps. However, there are quite a few large players, mainly known as the BAT, B-A-T plus B.
What do they stand for, BAT?
Yeah, B stands for Baidu, A stands for Alibaba, T is Tencent. So the last new B is ByteDance. So they're equivalent of Amazon, Meta, Google, and YouTube in the West. But unlike in the West, where Facebook, X, and YouTube are the default choices for each social media, and Google dominates the search engine space, in China, except WeChat, which is the most popular app for instant messaging, no other single player dominates in any one area of the Chinese social media. Those big four players I mentioned each own their own ecosystems, and they overlap and compete with each other in social, maps, video, lifestyle, travel, e-commerce, music, and film, and so on.
Yeah, so understanding how these digital channels work in China for marketing is essential if a company wants to succeed in the Chinese market. So it is more obvious to see this difference in B2C. So how about B2B then?
Yes, when it comes to B2B, it's actually very similar. This is because most of the current generations of business owners and executives have grown up in a digital age. We are talking about the age from 30 to 40s particularly. And so they're very comfortable to use digital tools to help them to make purchase decisions for their business, not just for their personal needs. This means that social media has also become very effective sales channels, but for B2B too.
So for those business interested in the China market, what kind of digital marketing would you suggest for them to consider?
As I mentioned, the Chinese digital world is spread across different channels, different platforms, but also they are multi-leveled. That is, different social media target different tiers of consumers. These are, particularly when it comes to tier one cities, the middle class is also different tiers needs according to where they're based in China. So often a business needs to use combination of digital tools to build and boost their presence in the market according to their positioning in the Chinese market. And such choices also depending on market segment and target audience. For example, if they're targeting knowledge workers in China, like engineers and scientists, 人之乎, which is equivalent to Quora here, is best to use for industry-specific expertise. While for the female audience, particularly younger generation of female audience, the Little Red is by far the most popular and important social media channel in China.
Oh, interesting. Perhaps let's delve a little bit into practice. So how would foreign business go about develop B2B marketing, digital marketing strategy in China?
It usually involves research to start with, followed by planning, then doing some tests on different ways to do the marketing. And finally, one can measure such outcomes before optimizing the strategy.
So when should they do that then?
This also depends. One of the factors to decide is budget and resources available to a company at the particular stage of the market development in China. Say, if they're not sure of the Chinese market potential, then they can start on a small scale or adopt a trial and error approach. They could just start with one channel, one social media, for example. But if they know China is very important for them and it has certainly got good potential, then it's better to start with developing a proper strategy so they can start with the right channels and avoid going through the wrong ways.
You are listening to Talking Business in China, a podcast by crayfish.io dedicated to exploring and dissecting the success factors and the fundamentals of doing business with or in China.
We do help clients to develop a digital marketing strategy for China. So perhaps you can talk about a case study?
Sure. This company's Chinese website was created years ago, but had not been updated in a very long time. Creating a new Chinese website was a key point at that time to carry out Chinese marketing campaigns and for better engagement with the Chinese market. On localizing the website into Chinese version, we designed to implement it in 2 phases. So phase 1 was to enable the company to launch its Chinese website efficiently, with an adapted design, optimize the key pages, and enhance search engine performance, following the look and feel of the company's global website. By doing so, it helped gain traffic and attention from the Chinese market at the earliest possible time, and from day one of launching the new website. So Baidu SEO, the equivalent of a Google SEO in China, and social media account setup were also done in phase 1. The second phase localization work included work on all other fact sheet pages and supporting pages, all in very much more details. The company was pretty happy with what Crayfish has done in both the marketing strategy and implementation for the China market. Currently, they're developing a new English website, and they're coming back to us on the next localization project.
Really good to see a client making good use of the Chinese website to engage their audience and generate more business. Are there any other things we would advise clients to do with regards to their Chinese website performance?
Yes. On website localization, I also wanted to add that there is a demand for website auditing. That is to identify any gaps with other competitors and look into how to improve their website to gain more traction. So this could possibly include a current website performance analysis, competitor benchmarking, SEO audit, content analysis, user experience, etc., etc. So this is also a service that we can offer and help make recommendations and action plans on how to improve the functions of the website following the auditing. So Ting, you mentioned earlier that WeChat is one of the most important digital marketing tools in the China market. So for people who are not familiar with the China social media landscape, can you explain what is WeChat and how foreign business use WeChat for marketing?
WeChat, as we mentioned earlier, is one of China's most popular digital social media tool. But in terms of business, there's only one type of WeChat account for those not having a physical entity of operation in China, and that is called WeChat Overseas Official Account. That does belong to the company directly versus if you open an account in China with a third party. And it can act as a complete brand hub to gather followers for your companies, for your account, and then send them targeted content regularly, push them marketing and service notifications directly to their WeChat notification, and then also redirect to them to your website or any other website of interest. So the social part of WeChat official account acts like LinkedIn company page, but it has a lot more functions, such as completing e-commerce functions, collecting money from customers. This is very important if you're operating in China remotely, for example. If you want to collect some money, you can use WeChat Pay, which is a separate app, but it can link to your WeChat official account. And you can also serve your followers through mini programs such as name card sharing and handle inquiries directly with your followers.
Mm. Indeed, it's important to have a plan for such official account to make it work over longer term. So I can share a case here. This client is a UK-based charity and a not-for-profit publisher promoting research and study across all branches of biology. As Chinese scientists play a hugely important role in the field of biology, the company was keen to improve their engagement with the China market. However, language and cultural barriers have created some challenges. They found it hard to reach out to the target audience and connect with the Chinese viewers and readers on a larger scale. So while assessing this case, our team identified several challenges. Without the social media presence or knowledge of China's complex social media landscape, the team was struggling to access this market. Furthermore, with no physical presence in China or native speakers in their team, they were lacking essential cultural knowledge required for success in China. So in order to help the company understand Chinese social media, we first presented to the client the Chinese social media landscape, then compared the pros and cons of a few different formats. In the end, they decided that WeChat would be the ideal platform to fulfill their goals. So the company's WeChat account was formally launched in May 2019. Since then, Crayfish has undertaken managing the technical aspects of the channel while providing content insights and quality translations of scientific tests. This also includes posting 3 articles per week and maintaining a community blog. So we have worked closely with the client to build their community and attract the followers.
Yeah, the client has been working with us for nearly 5 years, which is the proof that they are happy with the outcome of using this WeChat management services.
Yes, absolutely. After just 1 year on WeChat, the client had gained a strong base of active followers, and they continue to grow. The client has successfully received increasing submissions from Chinese researchers. So in the meantime, it has raised its profile among Chinese community members. So of course, similar to social media in the West, the Chinese social media landscape is also evolving. We are monitoring the trend and helping the client to adapt to the new practice, such as incorporating short videos in the WeChat, etc.
Given the time constraints, we can only cover a little fraction of China's digital marketing today. There are a lot more things we can talk about. But in the meantime, if people are interested, they can go to our website, which is www.crayfish.io, for a lot more free information and insight, as well as checking out how to set up various Chinese social media accounts. What differentiates Crayfish from just a digital marketing agency is that we understand our client's business as a whole in terms of strategy and operations. And so we can work out the best way together with the client to help them using digital marketing tools to realize their business goals in China, whether this is entering or expanding in China.
That's all for today. Thank you for listening to our podcast, Talking Business in China, hosted by Ting Zhang and Gia Young Huang. If you like this podcast, subscribe, like, and share. We discuss all aspects of driving business growth in China. Your comments, suggestions, and questions are always welcome. Do get in touch. Our website is crayfish.io and our email address is hello@crayfish.io. You can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X too. It's crayfish.io.